Here's what we know now. On February 3rd, that freight train with 150 cars derailed in the town of East Palestine, Ohio. At least 20 of the cars were carrying hazardous materials that could cause cancer and other illnesses. Some of the cars caught fire. Authorities detonated at least one of them to prevent an even bigger explosion. The problem is they could not stop that massive plume of dangerous black smoke that made the air obviously dangerous to breathe and reportedly killed scores of animals. The toxic stew seeped into surrounding lakes and rivers, potentially contaminating the drinking water. But today on Fox, the state's Republican Governor Mike DeWine says the water is safe.
We just handed a couple minutes ago the results of the testing of the village's water supply. There's 5 separate wells, and we now have results back from all the wells. All the wells indicate the testing is negative. It's clear. That water certainly can be consumed by residents.
Apparently not the fish. The governor also claims the air is just fine.
We brought the scientists in. We brought the people in who can test the air throughout this. The air has been good. Continue to monitor that air. And, we waited until that air was, again, clear before we announced that people could go back, voluntarily, whatever they want to do, but they could go back into their own homes.
Unfortunately, his constituents don't believe him much.
I do not feel anywhere in this town is safe.
We're not safe. Tell us the truth. That's all.
Oh, absolutely. I will not live in this town. I will be moving.
All right, so what's the truth? Is it safe or not to eat, drink, breathe, and live there? Joining me now, legendary environmental activist, consumer advocate, and author of the Brockovich Report newsletter, the woman for whom the movie Erin Brockovich is named. It's Erin Brockovich. Welcome to the show, dear.
Hi. Hey, thank you for having me.
So if people's eyes and ears and noses tell them that their environment is not safe and something is still very wrong, yet government agencies are telling them that the air and water results are completely clear and safe for them to return, who should they believe?
They need to believe their own instincts. They need to believe what it is they're smelling, what it is they're seeing, what it is they're feeling, what it is they're experiencing, what it is where they're having to bury their dead animals, and concerns for their children who are having coughs and rashes and vomiting and nausea and dizziness and headaches and everything else. I can't believe, right before I came on, that DeWine went, wasn't it just yesterday they were told not to drink the water?
Yes.
Now today they're told you can drink the water. This is just turning into one nightmare, if you ask me, because testing can take time. You just don't flip from the air is bad, the air is safe, oh, we're going to evacuate, oh, by the way, we're going to bring you back, but the water's polluted, now it's not. None of this is making any sense. And you wonder why the community is angry, frustrated, and fearful, because there's no consistent data, there's no confirmed data, and it's a guessing game. And that's a tragedy to do to a community. Look, what we do know is vinyl chloride. We had a train derail. We've had huge off-gassing. They've done a control burn. We know it's confirmed that butyl acetylate, which is a chemical that's kind of tricky because you got to look at the MSDS sheet there on what the additive to that chemical is, which is benzene. We know for a fact that that has now been detected off-site in the creeks heading for the Ohio River. So it's every single day, what a mismanaged disaster and lack of total communication. And so that community is going to have to rely on themselves, what they know, what they feel, and what their instincts are. Because at this point, I don't think anyone's trusting the information that's coming out.
They don't, and this is after COVID. There's still a great deal of distrust for the government after people feel that they were very misled about so many of the elements with COVID. But, here you've got some very toxic chemicals that you've just laid out. Are some of these things more dangerous and cumulative as time goes on, and what could they be looking at?
The benzene component absolutely could be, and we have I would like to ask a question to the EPA. Are you even testing for that? Because it's an additive, and if you miss it, we have a bigger problem because benzene's not going to evaporate or dissipate into the water. You'd have a huge contamination of the Ohio River down in the Mississippi, affecting tens of millions of people. And if the community, in fact, and some of their symptoms are telltale signs of a benzene exposure, you would need to be doing immediate blood testing. So in the absence of so much information, I don't know how any agency could deem this all clear and safe for these people.
Whose fault is this, Erin?
Well, we could start with Norfolk and why I'd like to know this train derailed. We're going to have to take a look at infrastructure issues and all kinds of problems in that front. How did it derail? Why did it derail? Why is it the governor is saying he didn't know it was carrying hazardous materials? I don't believe any of that. So it happened because a train derailed, and I think it derailed because we've got a lot of safety issues and we've got a lot of infrastructure issues, and we're going to obviously have to have that conversation.
All right. Well, we're going to have Erin Brockovich Part 2 back in the habit after this story, because I have a feeling that you're going to start cracking skulls and taking names. So call Julia Roberts. She's going to win another Oscar. Erin, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on.